So the Philadelphia Eagles had already, they had 5 days off. Our coach was in COVID protocol. They were going to have the passing game coordinator be the head coach if Sirianni was unable to make it. But of course, I don't think he was going to be able to miss this game. I think that this was a revenge game. The Eagles had already lost to the Giants a few weeks ago in very embarrassing fashion. And I didn't really want the passing coordinator to be the acting head coach because Giants are 26th against the run, and the last time the Eagles passed the ball too much and Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. So I would say at the very beginning of this game, I kind of had some PTSD up until halftime. I was like, oh, this is exactly the way it's gonna go. Jalen Hurts, he's gonna throw interceptions. He's gonna fumble the ball. He's gonna be loose with the ball. And that's how it was looking at the very beginning of the game. It appeared that Jalen Hurts had thrown an interception, but he did not. The ball hit the ground, and then he fumbled, which was bad. But at the end of the day, the Eagles weren't competing against the Giants necessarily. They were competing against Jake Fromm. Okay, the Giants were gonna go as far in this game as Jake Fromm allowed them to, and I kind of feel bad for Jake Fromm because I'd say like 3 weeks ago he was on Buffalo's practice squad, and now he's being roped in to be the Giants' backup quarterback with Daniel Jones injuring his neck. Now, what I didn't realize was in the last Giants game, Daniel Jones injured his neck on the last play of the game for the Giants offense. It was third down and like 12, and he slid, and as he was sliding, Eagles player dragged him down and injured his neck, which was very unfortunate for Daniel Jones. I've got no hate for the guy. Yeah, he plays for the Giants, but it's not his fault they drafted him. So it was just something that shouldn't have even happened in the first place. And if the Giants were smarter on offense, they would have found a way to, throw the ball incomplete or, hand the ball off, because the Eagles were just real pathetic in that game. They couldn't really do anything. But I guess Jake Fromm played well enough in that game against the Dallas Cowboys at the very end, and reserved for Mike Glennon, who he wasn't even doing anything either, both against the Chargers and against the Dallas Cowboys. And I guess they saw something at the end of that Dallas game, and he was going to be the starter. And I was thinking in my head, I'd rather play Mike Glennon because I don't really know what Jake Fromm is going to do. And I felt like the Giants kind of babied Jake Fromm. They kept saying in the game, I don't know who the commentator. I know what Kenny Albert or whatever his name is. He was the commentator. I forget. I don't know who the color commentator was. He sounded. It was Vilma, Jonathan Vilma. He kept saying that Joe Judge had told Jake Fromm always end the drive with a kick, whether it be a punt or a field goal. And I mean, okay. I mean, I don't really think that that's like the direct mentality, because the Giants really didn't have anything to play for. Number one, they really didn't have anything to play for. Number two, there were reports that said that the Giants were already guaranteeing that Daniel Jones would be on the team next year and Joe Judge would be the head coach next year. So, I was just really thinking to myself, like, why not just play balls to the wall? Like, the Eagles are trying to get into a playoff spot. Why aren't the Giants, really trying to do their best to kind of impede on all of that? I didn't really understand that in the least bit, and I still really don't understand it right now. Like with the Washington game, the Eagles were very slow, were very pedestrian. Jalen Hurts made some questionable decisions, had trouble reading the defense. There was a play in the red zone where He threw it to Quez Watkins over the middle, but he threw it to him late, and it didn't end up being a touchdown. He had Goddard in the end zone, in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown, an easy touchdown if he had caught it, but it just didn't work out that way. Ended up going for a field goal, which I did like Nick Sirianni's, going for points when we needed points instead of trying to go for it and trying to get greedy. I think I'll make a podcast about that later, or that topic later. But I can't really go out and blame Jalen Hurts 100%. I know I've been a huge critic of Jalen Hurts, but this is the point in time where we're trying to figure out the difference between the men and the boys. The men are going to the playoffs, and the boys, they're going to sit on the couch when the playoffs start. And I don't care if you are a bust wide receiver or a potential bust wide receiver, you should catch screen passes, Jalen Reagor. Like, you're in the team's doghouse. And I'm not trying to get after this dude's mental health. I know he'll never see this video. But the fact of the matter is, you need to catch those passes. I've seen you catch those passes. I've seen you catch some pretty spectacular passes. What the F, dude? Dallas Goedert. You need to catch those passes. You are, considered a top 10 tight end in this league. You need to catch those passes. You were dropping those passes in that Washington game too. It led to an interception when the ball bounced off your shoe. You need to catch those passes. I don't care who you are. It's irrelevant to me. You need to catch those passes, because when your quarterback is struggling, the last thing he needs is for you to be dropping passes. There were situations in this game where Jalen Hurts did throw bad passes and his receivers bailed him out. Devontae Smith bailed Jalen Hurts out on a deep pass where Jalen Hurts should have led him on a deep pass, but instead he threw it short and Devontae Smith jumped up and caught it. There was another situation where Quez Watkins, that was a play where I was like, oh, this is going to be an interception. You overthrew him this time. And Quez Watkins ended up catching the ball, leaping up and catching it. So that was something that impressed me there. Sometimes in certain situations, 2 weeks ago with the Washington game, or last week with the Washington game, Dallas Goedert caught a pass where he just bailed Jalen Hurts out. Sometimes you're going to have to do that with a young quarterback like Jalen Hurts. So the only other thing that I really have to complain about are the penalties. The penalties were bad. Okay? For this team, the penalties have been absolute drive killers. And when you're playing a team playing bad teams, you can't have those penalties. Even if you're playing good teams, you can't have those penalties. If you're playing against playoff teams, you can't have those penalties. Because if we end up getting a playoff spot, we're probably gonna play against Dallas. Probably gonna play against Dallas in the first round. You can't have those penalties. They can't happen. I hate to break it to you guys. Penalties are absolute drive killers. False starts, offsides, holding, absolute drive killers. You can go ahead and blame the refs all you want, but at the end of the day, you still committed the penalty. There were situations in that game where the referees absolutely gave it to us. I don't think that Devontae Smith touchdown catch was a true touchdown catch. Because when he hit the ground, the ball popped out of his hands. Now, that could have been a rule change. But I thought that whole situation was sketch. But, we got it anyway. I'm happy for Lane Johnson for catching that touchdown. A big man 6. That's always impressive when that stuff happens. But, when it is all said and done, I have gripes about this game, but moving forward, the Washington football team is not going to have Garrett Gilbert be their quarterback. They're going to go back to Taylor Heinicke. Okay, they're going to continue to get guys back from that COVID list. So, I know the Eagles control their own destiny right now, but what I saw on the field is not something that I'm like, oh, we have a chance to contend for a championship. No, it doesn't. Things need to be fixed with this team, and they need to be fixed fast. And I don't know what we're going to get with the Washington football game, because from the looks of things, Miles Sanders is in a cast. So that gives me the understanding that he broke his hand. And Jordan Howard seems to have some sort of shoulder injury again. So I don't know what's happening there. I don't know. Those two guys are a huge part of our offense. I don't trust Boston Scott to be a number one running back. I don't trust any of our other running backs. Kenny. Don't make me pull my hair out for this. Kenny. We're just gonna call him Kenny. I can't think of his name. Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell. You killed Kenneth Gainwell. So I don't trust either of them to be. I don't trust either of them to be our running backs. And with COVID protocol and the COVID stuff, we could end up having more guys on the COVID list. I have no idea. But I'm always happy to beat the Giants. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm happy we beat the Giants. I will give Jalen Hurts props for continuing to be that leader on the field and moving forward, but the guys gotta get things to click in the first and second quarters. That's gotta happen. We can't be playing this catch up game at the end of the game.